Joseph Brooks, and this is Lawyer in the Kitchen. Welcome to Lawyer in the Kitchen. Today we're going to make cabbage lasagna. This is a fantastic dish. It's easy to make. And you know, I had this a couple, 3 months ago, and it was really tasty. And what's also a benefit to this is that it's got low carbs. This is almost a keto recipe, very low in carbs. As long as you get a good marinara sauce, and this is one of the, I don't know how to pronounce this, I have no idea. My guess is Rouse, who knows. But anyhow, this is very low in carbs, so if you're trying to make it and keep the calories down, keep the carbs down, this is what's going to hurt you. So look at the label on that. We're going to have ground beef, red pepper, little zucchini on this one, garlic, onions, mushrooms, because I like mushrooms, and of course the cabbage. We're going to have a little bit of red pepper flakes in there, and of course a little spaghetti sauce seasoning, some grated mozzarella, some fresh mozzarella, and Parmesan. This will be a fantastic dish. You've got to try this. So we have about a medium-sized onion chopped up nicely. We've got about a half of a red pepper chopped up. I'm not going to use all these mushrooms. I've finely chopped this garlic, but I'm not going to put that in right away.
You finally got it done?
I finally did. And so, funny. Anyhow, so we're going to get this in a hot pan, the onions and the peppers, and then I'm not going to add the garlic until I actually have the meat and the sauce in there, because if you cook garlic too hot, too long, especially in the beginning, it can be very bitter, and we don't want that. Obviously, we want that flavor throughout and be nice and tasty. A little olive oil. Burner on high. We're going to get this pan nice and hot, and then we're going to put the pepper and the onions in there. And we'll probably cook them for a couple minutes just till the onions are translucent. And then we'll add the meat and the salt and the pepper and the garlic when we add the marinara sauce. All right, our pan's nice and hot. This should sizzle, and it does. This is what happens when you leave your spoon hanging over the pan on the gas stove. Just have to sand it down. All right. Let this go about 2-3 minutes. Put some salt and a little bit of pepper. All right, smells good. And we can go ahead and put the mushrooms in. Probably use, we'll see how, I don't know, I think it's 8 ounces. And that looks good right there. That's plenty. You still filming?
Yeah.
We're just letting this go right now.
Well, where's it going?
It's going into the cooked land. The land of the cooked. You got some steam coming off. And just, I'll mention this now too. The enemy of this dish is liquid, because you're using cabbage and it's going to have moisture. And of course, when you add mushrooms, you're adding more liquid, so you really want to cook these down a little bit. This has started to brown, and I'm just going to start breaking this up a little bit. Yeah, that's looking good. It's got a nice brown to it. And we're not going to make this into like a sauce. We're just going to break it up into bite-sized pieces, or a little bit smaller. And one good thing is I don't have very much fat in here, so there's not going to be anything really for us to pour off. And we're just going to keep tearing this up a little bit. What do you think? Sounds good, Sharon? That's a thumbs up. We have a thumbs up here. We have 2 thumbs up now. All right. This is going to be tasty. Now we're going to put back in our vegetables. And you see this hamburger's really done. Plus this is going to go in the stove. This is, if I didn't say this is about 1.5 pounds of hamburger, I think I did say that. Okay, that's looking good. All right, I still have to cut up some basil. And I'm going to put a little bit of this spaghetti spice. Now this is, I'm not going to do this at all like it's like the instructions, just like cooked in water and so on and so forth. No, we're not going to do that because we, like Never said, we want to avoid moisture because we're going to have the cabbage. And if you can already see this, if you look right in here, this already has moisture. We want all that out of there. Plus we're going to cook it down probably 1 hour to 2 hours with the marinara sauce to make sure we have a nice thick, relatively low in liquid sauce. All right, I'm probably not going to use all of this. That's good right there. We'll have a taste and see what we think. I can smell that. Can you smell that? Anybody smell that? All right. That smells great. All right, now we're going to turn this down a little bit because we just want it to simmer. I always got to go down there. As I see, I don't go off these knobs. I like to see what the flame looks like. I mean, I probably could get this down, you know, so I realize, well, okay, medium high is here, but I don't know what that is. But that's one thing about gas. You can tell what that is. You just look at the flame. And I've got my burner too high still. I want to turn this down and just let this barely simmer. A lot of people will put the garlic in right away. I don't know what that does for you. I mean, this garlic is in here early enough, and I know that it's not going to burn unless I burn up everything. You know, then it's, you know, the whole thing's bad. Okay, so I've chopped up some basil, and I don't know how much it is, a couple tablespoons. And that is, now I got it too high, so I'll turn it down. I don't want it to, we certainly don't want to burn it. All right, the only other thing we got to put in here is the red pepper flakes. And we're going to stir that in good. And then even though this is early, I am going to taste this just to see how the salt is and see if we need any more spices. These won't be as hot as they're going to be, so I'm going to put just a little bit. And that's right there, you see, is probably plenty. That'll add just a little bit of heat to this. That's good. That's good. It's going to be fine. This is all going to meld, combine, coalesce. Other words that mean that same thing. It's going to taste great. So we got a nice, pretty good looking piece of cabbage here. It's a piece of cabbage. It's a piece of cabbage. It's like the whole head. Anyhow, we're going to cut this core out. So we're going to go in and do it like this angle all the way around, and try to take the entire core out, because we're going to then set this in the we got a big pot here. I'm starting to heat this water, and we'll put the lid on and everything. I put some salt in there because that should help get rid of some of the moisture. Some people boil this. I think you can certainly do that. And this is tough. So let me try a different knife here. Yeah, that's a little better. All right. Thing is, we're going slightly at an angle. Obviously, be careful, especially if you cut it near your belly. Be a dead lawyer in the kitchen. I could do my Julia Child thing. Oh, I see, I cut myself. I'm not cutting onions. Yeah, there's that. Okay. Yeah, you know the killer about this, obviously, is that that's when you will cut yourself.
Don't say that out loud.
Okay. Well, anyhow, be careful doing this. That is a bear. Okay, I did, and I'm not happy with it. Okay, that's not going to be enough. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more than that. But now, see, that looks good. Look at that. We got all that core out of there because these leaves are going to peel off once they start getting hot. We're going to put this thing in here. I haven't decided which way to do this yet, honestly. And even though I've done this before, I don't remember how I did it last time. I actually boiled it. I'm going to put it like this so the steam goes up into it, and then we're going to try and peel these leaves off. There's salt in this water, as I mentioned. Try dry this out a little bit. Don't know if that works. Look at this, though. Isn't this doing nicely? This is what you want for a simmer. Okay, it's getting thicker. We're not burning anything. That looks good. I'm happy with that. And it's going to take us about 20 minutes or so to do these leaves. So this will be, and we've already had this on for about 20 minutes. So we may leave it a little bit more, probably about an hour altogether for this before we put it in the oven. Right, so the first one's already fallen off.
Ooh.
That looks pretty good. Let me see if this one, this one's getting ready to come off. Look at that. So I'm going to go with what I did here. I'm going to let this one, we're going to let this one sit a little bit. No, we're going to pull this one off. I lied. We are going to pull that one off. And that's not quite ready. We're going to let that go. We're going to stay in there just a little bit longer to get them nice and tender. If you look at this, when we scoop this out, you don't see anything there. This is thick. This is exactly right. This only took about an hour. And that's it. We don't have to do any more with that. There's no extra moisture, no extra liquid in that. That's good. We're going to turn that off. We're just about ready to start putting this together and put it in the oven. So now it's time to put your oven on 350 degrees. Now we're going to cut this center rib out because that really doesn't go with everything. Now, some people like this, okay, but it just doesn't seem to go. So we're going to do that. It won't take very long at all. So this pan that I'm going to use, this pan is almost as old as I am. This is 9 by 13.
That's old. Oh.
Seth, cut that out, of course. Okay, so this pan, I think it was the first, this pan was the first no-stick or non-stick pan. When my parents died, I got this pan back, and I used it when I was a kid. So this is great. I'm not going to do anything like Pam or anything like that. This isn't going to stick to this. Even though most of the non-stick stuff is off of this. It's just a favorite. In fact, this thing was warped so bad, I actually had to go out and beat it with a hammer to get things back together, but it's pretty good right now. It's relatively straight. All right, so I got this zucchini started with the peeler. This will take no time to cook because it's as thin as it is. And it'll add some flavor. We're going to start assembling this, and it's going to go into an oven that's at 350. Now, I'm using ricotta. I like the way that sounds. A lot of people there's a lot of people who have this recipe out there, or one similar. They use cottage cheese, some with egg and some basil. I just happen to think ricotta is what you need to have, so that's what we're using. Anyhow, so we're going to begin this by put in the bottom of the pan a nice layer of this. We don't waste too much. We're not wasting any of it, actually. This is, and look how thick. You see no moisture. It's time to put the leaves. I'm going to start with the greenest leaves. I just like those. So we're going to flip this back over again. And we've cut the ribs out. We're just going to lay them like this. And they can overlap a little bit. You can do whatever you want. It's your lasagna. And we'll use a little bit of this one right here, just to fill in this right over here. Look at that. See, we just open that up a little bit, lay that down, and now we're ready for some more meat. All right, so now we're going to put some ricotta. And my hands are washed, just so you know. And I don't know why I'm doing this. Just get this out here like this. This is the way to do this. This is going to be tasty. I'm just telling you right now. Go ahead and get that corner filled in. Don't miss any of this here. This looks really good. This is all going to kind of run together here. All right, it's time for a little bit of mozzarella. I'm going to wash my hands. All right. And now we're going to add the first bit of mozzarella as well. And we're going to do this on the liberal side. This is why we didn't add a lot of salt to this at all, because the Parmesan, which we want in here, this has plenty of salt. I mean, Parmesan is absolutely a salty cheese, great cheese. Actually remember being in Parma one time and drove through there and saw absolutely no cheese. All right. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to get another layer. This is looking good. We have plenty of cabbage. I was a little concerned at first that I didn't have enough, but I do. I have plenty of cabbage. 15 leaves is plenty. All right, this is going to be all the meat we have. So I'm glad I bought an extra marinara sauce, because I'm going to need that for the top. A little more ricotta. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's looking good. Nice and thin. This will cook, absolutely cook. I'm going to put some of this on here. This is the marinara sauce. So you probably need to get 2 24-ounce jars of this. That's enough. I'm going to just do this. I'm going to put the fresh mozzarella on here. And of course, we're going to put some of this mozzarella on, because this is going to be a cheesy, disgustingly great dish. There's a little more Parmesan. And this baby's ready to go to the oven as soon as we put a tin foil cover on it. Okay, we got it nice and tightly covered with foil. 350, 30 minutes. We'll take the foil off, put the broiler on to melt the rest of the cheese. It's been 30 minutes. Time to pull this out and take off the foil. See what we have here. We're not done. We're going to put this under the broiler. Oh, yeah. We're going to put this under the broiler, and we're going to melt all of that. Okay, so at this point, we're going to check this about every minute until we get the cheese all melted, bubbly, brown, but not burnt. All right, so we're about a minute in here. Oh, look at that, starting to melt nicely. Not done. Another minute. Look at that. More, but not enough.
How close are we?
We're like within 33.2 seconds. All right, I think we're close. I think we're very close. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Just a couple more seconds. Just a couple more seconds. I think we're there. 33.2 seconds just happened. Look at that. How's that look? Is that nice? I like that. Here, we're going to put a little bit of this on here. If we had put this on there earlier, it'd be, dried out. And we don't want to do that. We've let this rest about 5 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this corner out of here. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look good? Ah, look at that. That's some lasagna right there, girl. A little bit of this. This is going to taste great. All right, let's take a taste of this. Oh, that is so good. And I actually like the zucchini. I'm surprised. Thanks for coming by. Lawyer in the Kitchen. See you next time.